Hello children, good morning. How are you all? I hope you all are doing well. Let us ask God to just help us, guide us and keep us safe. Bless our thoughts, words and actions. Bless all our near and dear ones and bless us to study well and do well in our exams. Help us to study and remember whatever we have read and studied. Thank you God. I hope you all are doing well children. And now we will continue our lesson, right? We had stopped half the way, 3 men in a boat, which is our chapter 6. Now, who is the writer of this lesson? This is the first question. Who is the writer of this lesson? Now, where we had stopped? We had stopped where Mr. Jerome has gone to an old chum who is a doctor, right? Now, when he is going for an examination, you know what happened, right? The doctor checked his pulse and then what did he do? He punched in his chest and then he butted him. And then what he did was he wrote a prescription. Now, when a doctor writes something on a pad, like a medicine or to buy medication or whatever, it is called a prescription. Okay, so this is what he wrote and gave it to the patient. Now, when he got the prescription, he did not even bother to see what was written, but indeed what did he do? He just made 2 folds and put it in the pocket, and then he left from there. After that, he went to a chemist shop. He just removed the prescription and he gave it to the chemist. When he gave it to the chemist he just opened and he saw the prescription. He just looked through the prescription, he folded it back and gave it to the patient. Right? Now, the Jerome is asking the chemist, what happened? What happened? Why are you handing it over to me? You don't want to keep it and pack my medication and give it to me. So, when Jerome is asking the chemist that whether he would not want to keep it, right? What does the chemist say? What does he tell him? Are you not the chemist? Right? Don't you want to keep it and pack my prescription and pack my medication? What does the chemist reply? The chemist tells him that I am just a chemist. I don't have a cooperative store or neither a hotel, right? Or neither a hotel combined. So I am not able to oblige you, right? He says that I don't have a cooperative store, neither I have a hotel combined. So I am not able to oblige your need. I am just a chemist, right? He says that I am only a chemist which hampers me, right? He says that I am not able to oblige your needs. I am unable to do so. Now, what do you mean by oblige? Oblige means to legally or morally do something for somebody. So, the chemist is saying, I am unable to oblige you. I am unable to do something for you. Okay. So, being a chemist hampers me. What does hamper mean? Hamper means to prevent from achieving something. So he says that I am not able to help you achieve your goal since I am just a chemist. Who is a chemist? Chemist is a person who has studied the pharmacy part, right? He is either called the pharmacist or he is called the chemist. This person, once you study this line, you are authorized to work in a pharmacy. Pharmacy is also, in other words, in Calicut or in Kerala, we call it the medicine shop or the medical shop, right? Else, wherever you get the medicines is called the pharmacy. And the person who is authorized to work in a pharmacy is called the pharmacist or the chemist. Okay. In different places, probably they have different names, right? So here, when you don't say as go to the pharmacy, people say as go to the medical shop, right? We hear this term here locally, medical shop. We don't hear people saying pharmacy, right? So now, then after saying this, he says that hampers me. Hampers means to, what did I say? To prevent from achieving something. So then he handed over the prescription back to the patient. Patient is who? Question number 2, children. Who is the patient here? The chemist handed the prescription back to the patient. Okay, who was the patient? Now, let's move further. When Jerome got the prescription back, what did he do? He opened the prescription and he read. When he read, he was so happy with the results that his body was fit and fine and he needed no treatment. He was perfectly fine. He did not need any kind of treatment. So he was perfectly fine. Now, after that, as usual, all four friends, they met in a place and they kept on having a big discussion as to how each one felt. 2 people spoke about how they felt while waking up in the morning, how dizzy, how sick they felt like waking up in the morning, right? And what were their illnesses. Whereas the other explained how they felt while sunset, how they felt while going to bed, right? So the first two explained was I explained. Now the writer is saying that he explained to George and Harris. They were 3 friends, right? So he explained to George and Harris as to how he felt when he got up in the morning. As to how he felt like when he woke up in the morning. He felt sick, he felt uneasy, right? That is what, who said? Jerome said. So then Harris also told them how he felt like when he was going to bed. Now, George, what happened to George? George, he stood up on the earth rug. He stood up on the earth rug. What is an earth rug? It is a rug which prevents, it is a rug which they put by the fireplace, okay, and which prevents the fire from coming to the carpet. So, he gave such a powerful illustration of how he was feeling at night. What is an illustration? He did a kind of acting, he did a small mimic acting and showed them how miserable he felt when it was night time, what he felt while going to bed. So that was the illustration what he gave. Illustration meaning what is given here is helping to explain something, means he practically acted it out and showed them how he used to feel when he was going to bed. So how tired, how exhausted he used to feel. Now, George Francis isn't ill, right? So when he did this acting, his friend said George Francis. His full name was George Francis. So they said George Francis is ill, but there is nothing really, there's never anything really matter with him, So one of the friends, as they are talking, they say George Francis is ill. The way he acted, they said that he is sick, but there is nothing what is a real matter with him. So he is, in other words, he is perfectly fine, fit and fine. What was actually the matter with us? Now everybody is like discussing, right? So now they reached on a discussion saying that what actually the matter was that they were all working hard and they were overworking. Overworking means working from morning till evening and they were getting tired. They were working non-stop without rest. So they were all getting very tired. Sometimes they used to work till late nights also. So they used to get very tired, and then what happened was, that was the result of all this tiredness and stress. They were becoming very tired. That is what was everybody's opinion. Unanimous opinion. Unanimous means it was not one person, but like everybody reached to that unanimous opinion that it was the result of overwork. Overwork means when you are working without rest, non-stop, for so many hours, probably till late night sometimes, that that you will feel more tired, and sometimes when you overwork till midnight also, that you don't get sleep. So that is what they decide, that it's cause of overwork that they are feeling sick this way. Okay, so now they decide that they need rest, right? They decide that they want rest. Now who said this? Harris. We need rest. That is all we want. What is rest? Now, rest and complete change, said George. Now George said that rest is very, very important, but besides rest, we need complete change. Change of atmosphere, change of climate, change from this mad world, this crowdy mad world. We need to just depart from this side and go to a peaceful place where we will be with nature, we will be with the atmosphere, we will be only with friends. We don't want to be bothered with this funny world which is more disturbing and stressing us. So what does George say? Rest and complete change. The overstrain upon our brains has produced general depression throughout the system. So the overstrain means the overworking without rest, non-stop working, had built up the strain with their minds and with their bodies. That is why he says general depression throughout the system. That is why when they wake up in the morning, they were exhausted, they were dizzy, they were feeling giddiness, because when they were sleeping, which was late, they wouldn't get enough rest. Children, essential sleep is 6 to 7 hours, right? 7 hours is the minimum sleep we should have, and compared to children should have 8 hours of sleep. This sleep is very, very important for our body, for our brain, right? Because it is helping our immune system to build up. What happens is when we are working out in the day, it is helping. Sometimes our immune system is becoming weak. We are getting cold, fever, right? We are falling sick. We fall down. Some tissues are damaged in our body, hurt. So what happens is when we sleep, the sleep is giving a very good impact on our body. It is a healing touch. Okay. When we are taking enough sleep, proper sound sleep, what the sleep does is, it helps our immune system to become strong. Okay. It helps our hormones in our body to stabilize. Okay, children. So sleep is very, very important. And for children, minimum to 8 to 9 hours sleep is very, very, very important. Right. And for elders, 6 to 7 hours sleep is very important. If people don't have enough sleep, what will happen is they will be exhausted, they will feel cranky, and then when you are overworking, it also gives a very bad impact on your body and on your heart, right? When your heart is overworking, you are reducing the age of your heart. Do you hear young people, you hear in the news, you see in the papers, young people that are successful in life, young CEO, young director, have cardiac arrest. Have you heard this part? Young people of 44, 45, 50s, people are having cardiac arrest. Why? Because people are working from morning till night, late nights. They don't have enough sleep. They are so busy with their job. They are not getting rest. So children, rest is very, very important. However successful you become. But you should always remember that a proper health care, proper diet, proper food and proper sleep is very, very important for our body and our health. So now they are deciding that they need a vacation, right? In other words. So now they are thinking that they want to go somewhere. Change of scene and absence of the necessity of thought will restore the mental equilibrium. So they are thinking that if we are having a quiet sound vacation, it will help to bring the balance. Equilibrium means it's the balance, right? Equilibrium is the balance in our body and mind. I agree with George and suggested that we should seek out some retired and old world spot far from the maddening crowd. So Jerome is saying, yes, I agree with George. I agree with him completely. And then he suggested that we should find a place where seek out. Seek out means we should find some retired and old world spot. So he's saying that we should find a place, right? Somewhere away from this maddening crowd, where the place is crowded. So we have to find a place where there is no much rush, where there is less people, where we can have a peaceful time, right? And dream away a sunny week among its drowsy lanes. What is drowsy, children? Drowsy is half sleepy. That is what you call drowsy. So he's saying that we can go far away and dream in the sunny week. We can have some nice time in the drowsy lanes. Half forgotten nooks. What is nooks? Nooks is corners or joints, right? What is nooks? Nooks is joints or corners. Okay, what is a nook? Nook is a joint or a corner. So they are saying that we should go to a place which is like forgotten, that we are just free. Okay, hidden away from the fairies, out of reach of noisy world, some quaint perched eyrie of the cliff of time. So what are they saying? That we should go to some half forgotten nooks, means some half forgotten joints where they are forgotten and we will not remember them. We should go to such places. Hidden away by the fairies means nobody will be often visiting these places, hidden away from everybody, out of reach of the noisy world. So this place should be very silent and calm, where the noisy world is not heard. Some quaint perched eyrie on the cliff of time. What is quaint perched? Bird's nest. Perched is the bird's perch, right? Human beings don't perch. Birds perch. So quaint perched means where the birds' nests are there. Eyrie. What is eyrie? It is large nests. Okay. Quaint perched eyrie. Perched is bird's nest. And so eyrie is large nest. So we should go in some place where, like maybe it's a riverside or mountainside, where there are some birds which have large nests, where the birds perch and they have large huge nests. Okay, on the cliff of time. So probably on the cliff. What is a cliff? It's a mountain, right? Hills, mountains, from whence the surging waves of the 19th century would sound far off and faint. He's saying that where the veins of surging waves of 19th century, means he's saying that all this noise of this century would be faint, that we would be out of this noise. Harris said he thought it would be humpy. Okay, Harris thought that it would be humpy. He said he knew the sort of place I meant, where everybody went to bed at 8 o'clock. So he said that it was, Humpy means it was very weird. He said it was a very different, he said. He said that he knew such a place where people went to bed at 8 o'clock. And he knew what kind of place George was talking about. Okay. No, said Harris. If you want to rest and change, you can't beat a sea trip. So what is he saying? If you want to rest and change, you can't beat a sea trip. So probably Harris was planning for a sea trip. So what Harris is saying is, if you want to have some rest, you can't plan to go for a trip on the sea. That is what was his imagination. I objected to the sea strongly. So, who is this I now? Jerome. Jerome was not in favor of a sea trip because he was feeling quite uncomfortable with the seasickness. Right. Children, how many of you have seasickness? Seasickness is when you go into the sea, right? And going into the sea is not quite calm. Sometimes the sea is rough as well. So what happens is when you travel a long time in the water, you start feeling sick. You start feeling dizzy. You start feeling like vomiting. Okay. And you will start feeling sick, and then it will take, suppose if you're going on a long trip, it will take quite many months, right? For you to go somewhere and take a vacation, come back. So it will take quite many months. So who was against this trip? Jerome, right? He was against this trip and he didn't want to go on a sea trip because he said that it could be very different. It could be very rigged, right? It was not safe going for a sea trip. Okay? Children, I will see you in the next video.